ask her.
All right, this meeting is being held in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Annual notice of this meeting was published in the Union County Local Source and the Newark Star Ledger. Said notice was posted in the municipal building, and a copy is on file with the office of the borough clerk. Fire exits are located in the directions I'm indicating. If you are alerted for a fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Proper notice having been given, the borough clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of the meeting. Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Present.
Councilman Signorello.
Here.
Councilman Robina is absent. Councilwoman Lyons.
Here.
Councilman Patel.
Here.
Mayor Signorello.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
Please lead us in the opening prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in our dangers and sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. May I have a motion to move out of order to consider Resolution 274-25?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Please read ordinance number 274-25 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 274-25 is appointing Tyrese Chambers Cherry to the position of patrolman within the Roselle Park Police Department.
May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 274-25?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted.
I just, real quick before we start, I just want to say thank you. Yeah, I just put this on by chance, but I'm repping. I got the PBA thing on. I just wanted to recognize we have a councilwoman from the great city of Plainfield here. Round of applause for Councilwoman Cherry. I didn't find out till last minute you were coming. I told everybody casual. If I knew we were having guests over, man, we would have dressed up for Plainfield. Come on. Anyway, sorry, Chief. You want to... who you want to come have you... Okay, cool. Any other family? Yeah, go for it, man. Wherever you want to come up. It's your show.
Aww. Oh, that's so nice. Oh my God, I love that. That's so precious. Oh, that's beautiful.
You could swear him in down there if it's better.
Okay, yeah, you want to do that? Well, we can swear... why don't we do the swearing in down here so it's easier?
You want to bring the mic?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, 100%. We'll do it right here. How about that?
Oh, how beautiful.
How you doing, Grandma? Thanks, Greg.
That's sweet.
Just have a seat. It's all right. Let me go get this. Right hand on the Bible?
Left hand on the Bible.
Left hand on the Bible. So close. 50-50 shot.
You want- you-
Okay, repeat after me. I,
I,
Tyrese Chambers Cherry,
Tyrese Chambers Cherry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United
in
States
the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of police. That's all right. No, we'll do that one. Perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police patrolman
police patrol
of the Borough of Roselle Park
of the Borough of Roselle Park
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Want me in the picture? No, okay, you guys. I can need you to sign this. There you go. Chief, you're on a string of getting really tall candidates here, dude. All right. Chief, you want to say a couple words?
So good evening, everybody. I know we did a full background on this young man, but I had no idea that you were the councilwoman over in Plainfield. I don't know how that got biased. I'm going to talk to my detectives after we're done, and we're going to have a little chat. Just a little bit about Tyrese, his bio. Tyrese Chambers Cherry is 26 years old and a resident of Hillside, New Jersey. Tyrese is a Hillside High School graduate, where he graduated in 2017. Following high school, Tyrese furthered his education by attending Union County College, where he earned an associate's degree in criminal justice. In 2023, Tyrese was hired by the Garden State Correctional Facility as a corrections officer, where he attended the Seeger Police Academy, graduating in August of 2023. Tyrese was then hired by the Orange Police Department in 2024, where he attended the Passaic County Police Academy, graduating in July of 2024. Tyrese comes to this agency with 2 years of law enforcement experience and is a student of martial arts, specializing in jiu-jitsu. I believe he would be a great addition to this police department and the borough, given his previous experience and background. I want to wish Tyrese all the best, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Congratulations and be safe.
Please, come on. Mike's yours.
This is on behalf of Assemblywoman Linda Carter, Jim Keddy, and Senate President. They are giving you a Senate and General Assembly citation. This is to Tyrese Chambers Sherry. On the 22nd of August, New Jersey Legislative District, through their elected representatives, for bringing honor to themselves and pride to their family and community upon taking the oath of office as police officer in the borough of Roselle Park, exemplifying commitment to the public service, safety, and highest ideals of justice and integrity. Congratulations.
I can grab the mic.
Yeah.
I'd like to say thank you to everybody that came out. Thank you to the city and council, to Chief Reno, and for my family and friends that came out as well, and the entire Roselle Park Police Department as well. I'm excited to work with you guys. Words can't even express it. I'll see you Monday.
So sweet, so sweet.
You want to break the photos?
Yeah, do you want to, can I have a motion to go into
Recess.
recess? Just to let these guys do a couple photos? So move.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep, okay. It's a really good speech. No. just like charge? All right, final warning for pictures. I'm cold. It's freezing in here. I gotta get in and get out. You're very welcome. Congrats, man. Take it easy. Yeah. Congratulations. Hi. Yeah. Okay, do I have a motion to reconvene?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, now for equally jovial stuff. I'd like to bring up the tag development group for 510 Chestnut Street redevelopment area. Do you guys want to come over here? Right there, and then could we have our professionals, Lindsay and Joe? Right over here. Yeah, I'm getting blasted. Hey, how are you? Hi, stranger. So let me set the table for this because whatever. We haven't done this before, but I think it's worth discussing. So we've been discussing a wildly complicated project in this 510 Chestnut Street redevelopment area. It's listed in part of our affordable housing requirements. So there's obviously incentive for us to do this at this point. And I think I don't think we all like the project, but I think a lot of us see the value in the project. Enough of us see the value in the project. I think I've been talking back and forth one-on-one with the developers, but obviously we've come to an impasse with certain hard economic realities here. So we thought it was best to kind of, rather than me playing monkey in the middle, kind of just have you guys here, talk about those issues that potentially can get solved, and we could react from that. So we're all ears.
Sounds great. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of council, members of administration. It's good to see many of you again. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Sharon Roundtree. I'm the Executive Vice President of TAG Development. I want to thank you for the opportunity. We're really excited about this project. We're New Jersey, just a little bit about us. We're a New Jersey-based company. We have very deep local roots. We're excited to deliver affordable housing, strengthen Roselle Park's downtown, and bring long-term value to the community. We really want this project to succeed, but in order to make it financially viable and truly buildable, we do need some flexibility, and we want to work with the town. Just a little bit more about our company. We have more than 30 years of experience delivering housing and community-focused projects all around New Jersey. Our headquarters is in Elizabeth, where our president and CEO was born and raised. Me personally, I've lived or worked in this area for over 20 years. Like I said, you've seen me before. You're going to keep seeing me again or out and about. I've spent a lot of time here in Roselle Park. A lot of your restaurants, actually. Prior to joining the TAG team, I spent about 20 years serving in local New Jersey government as a municipal administrator, focusing largely on economic and redevelopment programs. I've also taught municipal management at Rutgers University. I'm a certified redevelopment agency executive director. I'm an AICP certified planner. I say all of this because it gives me a deep understanding of the interests, the concerns, the sensitivities that sitting on that side of the dais you might have. Bottom line is we really do care about the community. We're here, we're part of this area. Our team has built, we have thousands of residential units in the pipeline throughout the state of New Jersey in towns like Union, Fanwood, Morristown, Jersey City, Carteret. We have an affiliate company, Ramos Contractors, that does actually most of our building for projects this size. And Ramos has built thousands of units throughout the state of New Jersey. So we have a long, deep track record. We're not going anywhere. Why do we think this project matters to Roselle Park? It's not about what matters to us, it's what matters to you. It can add some quality, vibrant housing near transit for you. It can help strengthen your downtown and economic viability. And it, as you know, it's supportive of your affordable housing plan, which you recently just submitted. So it's important not just to meet the state requirements, but to keep Roselle Park economically viable, to keep it a place that people want to keep coming to and to stay and live in. So what's the challenge? Why are we here? Why are we talking to you? It's really all about a financial viability. Whether it's us or any other developer, we've looked at this site, we've literally played Legos with different configurations on what we can do, given the plan and your most recent amendments to the plan. And one of the big changes from when we first started talking about this project was the increase from 15% to 20% of the affordable housing. Just to put that in context, each affordable unit costs us about $162,000
Wow.
over the cost of the project. So having 10 affordable units lowers the value of this project as if from when it was a market rate unit by almost $3 million. So that additional affordability component really changes the financial picture of this project. But at the same time, as I said, I'm an AICP certified planner. I've sat on your side of the dais many, many times. I get why you need that 20%. It is important to the borough, and we want to work with that. But in order to make everything else work, there are some concessions that we would need. So our request, looking at it, there's kind of two options. We could go taller so we can get more density, so we can reach economies of scale to make up for that increased affordable requirement. But I get you might not want that. You might not want to go up to the 5 stories, and I understand at the last meeting that's why the plan was amended to go down to 4 stories. But in that case, in order to make something more viable, what we would ask is some concession on the parking requirement specifically to 1 space per market rate unit. And we have, and I'm going to let Connor Hughes from Dynamic Traffic speak in a second about why we think that makes sense for the project. I also want to say, as developers who have developed many, many projects, we want to make sure that we have tenants that want to lease up. So we're not trying to undercut the amount of parking that we need on site, but given the proximity of this site to the train station, we think that a 1 parking space per market rate unit is really viable, and we can manage that. Another thing we did notice on the plan as it was introduced at the last meeting is there's a setback on the 4th floor. Originally, when the plan was presented, there were five stories with a setback, and so we would request that setback not be required on the 4th floor. So those would be the 2 practical requirements that we would ask for the council's consideration. Again, I'm going to let
One thing,
speak.
sorry, Sharon, just one thing to pause you on. It is worth noting also that in a very earlier iteration, we also set the entire facade back,
Yes.
right? So it's in 2 separate scenarios. We've both set it back to be flush with the existing apartment building there, which you guys have been gracious enough to plan around, and then we've topped it out at the 4th floor. So there has also been some setbacks baked into this to make it less above the street and not abrasive, but imposing. Before we go on to your professional, I'd just like to pause if there's any questions from council right now.
Yeah, so when we're talking about, excuse me.
Yep.
Sorry. When we're talking about setbacks, we're just talking about fourth floor only.
Just the fourth floor.
We're not
So
talking
there's
about
currently a
ground level.
There's currently a 20-foot setback in the plan for the overall building, which
Okay.
aligns with the building right next door to it. But as the plan was amended when the reduction in height was put in place, it didn't necessarily remove the setback that was required if there was a fifth floor, and that really changes the dynamics of the project. So we're saying just no additional setback on that fourth floor.
So the whole thing would be 20 feet setback, but it would go straight flush up. There would be no setback on the top floor.
And we'll have,
Renders.
renders, and as we get further into the projects, it's not going to be a flat building. We want our projects to be welcoming. We want people to live there. At the end of the day, we need these to be leased up.
Yep.
So I don't know. if there's
Anything else?
And just to refresh my recollection, number of units that we had? for
Yeah,
that?
so how many do you have planned right now?
So there's been many iterations of that. I believe your current redevelopment plan allowed for 55 or 65 units. We wouldn't go up to that. So even if you wanted to reduce that density to 50 units, we would be amenable to that. And
Yeah.
we'd probably be a little bit under that.
I think the one thing, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's a little bit of guesswork on how many units you can get until we set the parameters, right? Because
Exactly.
you have to dedicate some floor space to parking. What does that parking ratio look like? What is the actual height? What setbacks do you have? So, but I would say the highest we've seen is 58, or what do we have? Do you remember what we have in the actual submitted in the plan to the state, the affordable housing plan?
We met our entire requirement.
No, I know, but we had to list out we
I
had to
don't
list.
remember it off the top of
I
my head,
believe,
but
if I remember
there-
correctly, I believe there were 13 affordable units that were required on this site.
Yeah.
We won't get to that 13, but we can get pretty close to it. Our goal is to get you 10 of those 13.
Yep.
With that reduced. So that would be a 50-unit building.
Yeah.
If we can manage 50. I will say, I don't think we can get to 50, given all of the other parameters. But we can get you 10 affordable units to help meet that requirement.
And Greg, just one other thing, Andrew, just let me know. So in the redevelop, or in the plan that we submitted to the state, which, look, we can always amend and ask for forgiveness, we submitted it as 65 units total and 13 affordables, which would account 20% of the 65.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that was in the zoning, right? That's not in the plan?
That's in the redevelop, or that's in the affordable housing plan that we submitted to the state.
Plan.
and
Got
the
it.
original redevelopment plan.
And the original
So with the reduction in those 3 units, we would then be required, we're now on the line from the state to find 3 new affordable units within the borough, within the next 10 years, if there's additional development in the future. So either through looking through additional credits, or if there is additional development.
And then the one other thing I think it's worth repeating or worth understanding is there's also a formula of the size of the units too, right? Is another thing that you guys have to take into consideration, right? So certain amount of them have to be 3 bedrooms, certain amount have to be 2.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it's UHAC, Uniform Housing Affordability, I always forget what's that, it's Uniform Housing Affordability Plan, which requires what the bedroom mix has to be for the affordable units, and it also has size requirements. So the affordable units in this project will be similar in size to the same unit, bedroom unit mix as the market rate units, and they'll be spread out throughout the building. So it's not like there's like those are the affordable units, and
Yeah.
those are the market rate units.
Yep. Cool. What's your name again? You kind of have to
There we go.
I hate these buttons.
Hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'll try to speak up.
Yeah, okay.
So, hello everyone. Thanks for taking the time with us tonight. My name's Connor Hughes. I work with Dynamic Traffic. So we're a traffic consulting firm. We've been hired to look at the parking ratios, look at the redevelopment plan, and kind of ascertain the viability of our request, which is the 1 per market rate unit. So just a quick little background on myself. I'm a project manager at Dynamic Traffic. I have a professional engineering license. It's in good standing in the state of New Jersey. I have testified in front of many other boards, including the planning board here in Roselle Park for the credit union that's currently, I think it was actually just finished construction.
Yep.
Just recently across the street from this site. So I've been accepted as an expert witness in traffic engineering at a number of other boards, including your planning board. So for this project, what we did initially, currently the redevelopment plan is contemplating, as we know, 1.5 spaces per unit. We're looking to hopefully amend that down to 1 space per market rate unit. So we looked at a couple different data points, a couple different items. There's a couple things I want to just note first. So this site being so close to the train station, we are considering it what is called a transit-oriented development, or a TOD. So with a transit-oriented development, a lot of times lesser parking is typically required and should be considered, really, based on the fact that you have this relationship with the train station and the commuters, and that ties into to lower parking demands, lower trip generation, things like that. And this site obviously is directly adjacent to it. It essentially can't get any closer. There's also actually a bus stop right in front of the site that has service to New York City. So while that doesn't have as much of a draw, it's still, for this particular site, something that's going to help lower that overall parking demand. And
Well, I think it's also important from a planning perspective, and I'm just going to get my, Sharon, I don't have all the cool titles after you, but I've been learning after for 7 years. Part of the frustration with affordable development in the state is, and part of the, rightfully so, some of the towns get frustrated, is you have towns like, I don't know, Watchung, right, where there's not necessarily a lot of public transport, right? They have affordable housing units out in the middle of nowhere, right? And there is no, sometimes these folks don't have cars, right, because it's expensive, and public transportation becomes more and more important, right? So all the more reason to have it by those other modes of transportation, right?
yeah, absolutely.
How did I do?
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
You can take my place. You're learning a lot. But yeah, absolutely, it's important, and obviously with this situation, Roselle Park brings you right into Newark Penn, and obviously New York City can be accessed from there. So there's a lot of quick, easy access to mass transit, not only train, but also the bus stop that I mentioned, to allow these people to get to primarily New York City, but also other areas in the surrounding counties, towns, downtowns, things like that. So there's a publication that New Jersey DOT published called Eliminating Barriers to Transit-Oriented Development, where they define a transit-oriented development as compact, mixed-use, pedestrian-friendly developments within walking distance of transit stations, typically defined as a half mile from a station. So obviously we're well within that radius. It's about a stone's throw away, a couple hundred feet. And then taking that a step further, there's another publication by NJ Transit. This one is Planning for Transit-Friendly Land Use. And they actually suggest a 25 to 30% reduction in the parking supply for residential developments located within what they call a transit node. And a transit node is an area within a quarter-mile radius of what they call a fixed guideway station, which is like a light rail commuter station such as this, or rapid transit.
Real quick, Joe, maybe you guys would know. There's legislation being considered also to cap in transit areas at 1, or is it 0? Okay, got it. Okay, got it. All right, so it could get not worse, but could get more dramatic, right? Okay.
It's pending legislation, but within a half a mile of the train station, there would be
No
0
parking
off-site
requirement.
parking. Yeah.
Got it.
Or
Okay.
on-site parking.
Yeah, and that ties into the idea that around these mass transit hubs, that less parking is required and needed. You look at places like Jersey City, they actually have maximum parking requirements, not minimums,
Yep.
to help really facilitate, more reliability on mass transit and less demand for, actual vehicles.
Yep.
And a lot of times when you do have a lesser parking demand, it tends to attract tenants that don't have a car. If somebody that has 2 cars and they come to look at this apartment building and find out, they're not going to have spaces for the car, chances are they're going to go look elsewhere. So it really would lend itself to, users and tenants that do have less vehicle occupancy and may or may not even have a car for their daily commuting. So we did look at a couple other data points as well. First one being the Institute of Transportation Engineers parking generation. I'm sure you've heard these before, but essentially these set forth average parking demand rates based on their own empirical counts at a number of different research sites throughout the country. So they come up with average parking demand rates per unit, per square footage, depending on the use. So in this case, we looked at the multifamily low-rise use. So I'll start with what I'm calling their standard rates, which is outside half a mile of transit. Based on the ITE data, this would equate to a parking ratio of 1.04 spaces per unit. But when you factor in the 25% reduction mentioned in the NJ Transit publication about being a transit node, that gets reduced to around 0.8 per unit. ITE does also have data specifically within half a mile of rail transit, which would equate to a parking demand of just about 0.9 per unit. So a little higher than that 25% reduction with the standard rates, but generally in the same ballpark and less than that 1 per unit that we'd be seeking. And then we did also look at some local data as well around the borough for other multifamily developments within a half mile of walking distance to the train station. There's a total of 9 different sites that we looked at, and we found that there's an average parking supply of 1.13 vehicles or spaces per unit. But again, when you take the 25% reduction for being within a quarter mile, that would get reduced to around 0.85 per unit. So there's clearly, not only locally, but nationally, a precedent for having these types of parking requirements and parking supplies. And again, having this lesser requirement would help and likely attract users and tenants that do have less vehicles. So, just based on all those facts, we do feel that the 1 per unit is certainly viable, and it's consistent with other developments, not only in the area, but up along New Jersey Transit in the state, as well as many other transit hubs. So if there's any specific questions, I'd be...
Can I ask one logistical question? Because I think we've had in the past, I actually think we've dealt with a decent amount of it, but what has happened in the past is certain developers have had, you would have a unit and then you weren't necessarily getting a parking space, right? So the people, you pay whatever, $2,000 a month for the unit and then $125 for the parking space. And what happens with that is people are just like, screw it, I'll try and park on the street, right? Is the intent, if we do 1-to-1, that at least every market rate unit would get 1 parking space?
We hadn't gotten to that level, but that's something we would be happy to discuss with the municipality.
Cool. Any questions? Sure.
So just to kind of sum everything up, at the end of the day, we really think our goal is aligned with yours. We want a viable project. I assume you guys want a viable project, a project that advances your affordable housing plan, and something that really has long-term benefits to the borough. So what we would respectfully request is if the council would consider reintroducing the ordinance at your next meeting, which I believe is September 4th, with some amendments to these parking requests and that setback request, and then refer that to the land use board to see if they have any additional comments, and then readopt the plan. So that would be our request. We're excited, we're committed, we really want to work with all of you on what your vision for that would be and to help out the town.
I just need clarity on one thing.
Sure, yeah.
So what's you guys' proposal for the parking? Because I did hear a lot of the statistics and stuff, and I'm very open to finding that middle ground for this development or project to exist. But without getting too negative, I didn't like some of the things that were mentioned. But I'm not opposed. One thing has nothing to do with another. Like the legislation, that's another animal. That's another beast. But I know what to do for that, so I'm not worried about that right now. Just what's your proposal from the 1.5? Let's just cut to the chase and let's get right there.
Our request would be to move it to one parking spot per market rate unit, and to eliminate the 4th floor setback as the plan has been amended.
Okay, so right now it's at 1.5. So what are we proposing? 1.35?
What we're asking for is 1-to-1.
1-to-1?
1-to-1 market rate.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's, so what we can do is we could have you guys speak to them about the proposed language, we can talk offline about it, and, goal would be to put it on the agenda with something that can move forward.
Thank you. And we're happy, I'm very easy to reach. I'm happy to share my information with anyone if you have any additional questions or need more information.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Okay, moving along, may I have a motion to approve meeting minutes pending corrections?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody like to come up and speak? Agenda items?
How you doing? George Ramirez, 500 East Clay. So about this redevelopment, can we ask questions to Neglia and TAG or no?
Nope, you could ask questions to me.
Okay. When did TAG get involved with this project?
Oh, when did TAG get involved with this project? Well, officially, they're still not a conditional redeveloper, so there's no official involvement. I guess we first started discussing Q1 this year.
What
In-
day?
Sorry?
What day? Like January, February?
January, yeah, probably January.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this has been started since January for a building that isn't even up for sale yet?
No,
Or it's not up for sale, period?
no, yeah.
Do they know that? Do you guys know that the building's not up for sale?
Again, you can direct questions to me, the chair.
Okay. So do they know that the building's not up for sale?
Yeah, so we can do a study for feasibility of a development on anything, whether it's up for sale or not. I could do a study on this building right now. Doesn't mean it's up for sale. It means that once the study's done, if it is up for sale, then that is what could be built there. It's as simple as that.
The redevelopment study was done by Neglia.
What does that have to do with anything?
So TAG Development is here asking for variations and setbacks and all of that. That's not part of a study. That's part of a development project.
Yeah, that's part of a request is they see what's going on and they would like to develop there, and economically it's not viable as constructed, so they're making requests. Council can say yes or no.
So how is TAG Development here part of a study? You just said they're here for part of a study. We can do a study,
I never said they're part of the study. We did our study independently.
but we're able to do a study on a piece of property, you said, right?
Yes,
Okay, so how is that them asking for different parking situations and setbacks part of a study?
it's part of the plan. We introduced a plan, and we're going to adopt a plan potentially, and then you adopt an agreement. What they're saying is the parameters, the outcome of the study is a proposed plan. The outcome of that, the parameters of that plan means there's not a viable project right now economically, and they're asking us if we're going to move forward to consider different parameters of the plan.
Mayor, it's not of the building, it's of the area. It's a redevelopment plan for the area.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
For the- yeah.
that means a lot. That's a big difference. You
Where's the
said
lot?
of the building, and it's not of the building, it's of the lot, it's of the lots. We do redevelopment of lots, not buildings.
Lot
Lots.
510 Chestnut Street, which is the lot,
Yeah.
which is owned by the Board of Ed.
Absolutely, but that's a redevelopment area,
Yeah.
not a property.
Well-
And I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to
Talking
get
about
clarity
the
for you.
specific
I'm just trying to
property.
get clarity.
Yeah,
It's not-
but once
You were
ag-
talking about a specific property, but that's an area. It's an area redevelopment.
But once again, we did a redevelopment study on the, of the part of the downtown with the movie theater. None of that's for sale.
Okay.
It's state law.
Did you have a developer here asking you for setbacks and parking situation, variances and all of that, or no?
What is it, what is the question here, George?
I don't get where you guys are bringing developers here for something that's not for sale. I'm trying to understand how you guys are correlating, why is this on step 6 when we haven't even done step 1 yet, which is put the property up for a vote by the
So-
Board of Ed for it to be sold?
So if a piece of property was sold, would you agree or not agree that the determination of the value of that lot would be heavily influenced by what could be built there?
Yes, but you're not asking for a
No, no,
building.
no, no, no.
For a sale.
So if I say, so if the town says it's only zoned for a one-story coffee shop, that makes the land less valuable than if it's a seven-story skyscraper. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So then
That's
how
the
would
case.
anybody correctly value it without that?
Is that your jurisdiction? Is that your say?
It's
or is that
my
the Board of
jurisdiction
Ed?
to say what can be zoned there, 100%. It's this governing body's.
So what about the Board of Ed?
The Board of Ed can decide whether or not they want to sell it or do a land swap. That's their jurisdiction. In no way is this forcing anybody to do anything. There is no condemnation on this. This plan could sit there for the next 20 years. And then if Board of Ed in 15 years decides to sell it or do whatever, then that plan is still in force. They are under no compulsion to do that. I cannot do that. Nobody on council can do that. It's up to them.
Is Tag Development the same people that have 441 East Westfield under contract?
I don't even know what building that is.
The one that you showed on January 5th?
I have no idea whether or not it's under contract.
It is under contract.
That's news to me.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else like to come up and speak? Okay, may I have a motion? Oh, we do. All right, thank you for the catch. Where's the bottle of water? Where's the water? I'm dying right now, bro. I'm about to drink this hand sanitizer. What percent alcohol content is that? Yes, sir.
Milt Woodruff, 134 Bender Avenue, Roselle Park. My question pertains to 26220-25, the fourth round of affordable housing.
Okay.
It seems like we have something like $1.4 million set aside for affordable housing,
Yep.
and we're allocating how much per unit as a subsidy?
I don't think it works that way in the trust fund necessarily. What are we spending the 1.5 on? There's a spending plan associated with it, but give me in broad strokes.
This is the spending plan.
Yeah, yeah, so
This is the
that's what I'm
approval of
saying.
the spending plan.
But in broad
So there's-
strokes, we're not subsidizing through this any direct units.
Well, it would be, there's a rehab component.
Yeah,
right?
so we would, the rehab program, right? So if you're in a certain income bracket and you want to rehab your program, we give what, $20,000?
$25,000.
So that's part of what the money goes to? Okay.
Right, then there's an affordability assistance component, right? And that, it completely depends on what you're subsidizing.
But also, in the computations there, I see interest on, they talk about fees over the next 10 or 12 years, and that's going to earn a 2%. I earn about roughly, I think it's 66,000 over the period of time. But I don't see any calculation for the 1.4 million, which is in a fund. Why is there no calculation for that?
Well, I mean, part of if I could.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
part of the reason for that would be that the balance is ultimately, but the balance is ultimately changeable at any given time.
You want to load, Lindsay? Yeah.
Sure.
Why is that not invested at 2%?
Well, I could call up Amex and get it at maybe 4%. But the point, my point is, if I withdraw $1 million today because of a rehab program, the interest that you would be projecting is much different.
Absolutely. But at least it should
So how
be
would you
part of the
project that?
calculation. Plus, I don't see any allocation or allowance for compounding. You know, you put the amount of earnings per year in the fee, you know, it's not going to spend every year. Not going to spend it every year. You would have compounding the interest on that and so the other.
But it
makes no sense that you would not get.
Lindsay is definitely more of the expert than I am, but it's not a static 1.4 million in this fund. It will ebb and flow over time. In fact, most of that money was not
Right
put in
now,
the fund by the
1.4 in there.
municipality.
So why are we not getting interest on that?
So
Which should be part of this calculation.
So the way the spending plan is done is because we have to basically predict how much money is going to be coming into this plan, into this account, it's Affordable Housing Trust Fund, over the next 10 years. We don't necessarily know all of the projects which accrue deposits into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So it's basically an exercise that you're doing using what is existing and what is anticipated, and you're going on the conservative side because you don't want to commit to having much more money in there than you actually do. So the intention of it is to try to predict how much money based on the previous interest that we've earned, as well as the previous deposits that we've received from projects.
But
So
Lindsay,
this is all kind of in
real quick,
hypotheticals.
is your point we should put it in a different bank account?
Yeah, but I also don't see
Okay.
any calculation for the 1.4 million. That's gonna sit there, and you're not gonna spend it all at once, so why is there no allowance for that?
So the 1.4 can only be spent in certain ways. The state only allows you to use certain percentages towards affordability assistance, other emergent funds, administrative accounts. So you have to use that money, and then if you read through it, you see how the different percentages are broken down. And we do have to use all of the money in the fund prior to the next round of affordable housing. Otherwise, that money gets given back to the state, and they use it for their own affordable housing endeavors. So the money will be used, but this is just showing how over the next 10 years it will be allocated and how it will potentially be spent.
That's wonderful, but still, there's no allowance for earnings on that 1.4 million.
But there are.
But there are,
So
yeah.
there are. Well, I think there are at $6,500, $6,600. The point I think you're
That's on
making.
the dues, the additional fees they're gonna collect according to your report.
What are we talking about
But
here?
it-
$1,000?
So we have development fees on this report. So those development fees are based on if you do work within the municipality, there's an affordable housing trust fund that you have to pay into.
Absolutely.
The other way that
And
this
that's
is accruing
calculation
money
there.
is through, I'm finishing my statement. The other way is through the interest that is accrued over time based on the deposits. So you get the way the way this math is done based on the state legislation and the way we are required to do it based on the state's requirements is you do the interest based on the deposits.
I think I get your point, but unfortunately, you're out of time.
Yep.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ken, Andrew,
Me. Yeah, I'm Jay tonight.
Ken?
Just real quick, Mayor, just a reminder, August 1st bills are due by Thursday, the 28th, without interest.
Andrew, got anything? No? Okay. There are no ordinances for second reading? Oh, may I have a motion to accept the reports of the departments as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There are no ordinances for second reading. Mr. Clerk, please read ordinance number 2828 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2828 is an ordinance for introduction, ordinance adopting the 129 and 133 West Westfield Avenue redevelopment plan pursuant to the local redevelopment housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 et sec. The Land Use Board reviewed this redevelopment plan, found it to be consistent with the municipality's master plan, and provided no recommendations for amendment.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2828 for introduction and fix the date for second reading and public hearing as September 4th, 2025?
So moved.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, can we just go over the plan overall and explain the,
Lindsay, you want to get, yeah, sure, you guys just might want to swap seats.
All right, yeah, so I can definitely go over the plan. So this is for an area that was already designated as an area in need of redevelopment. However, instead of using the entire area, this plan is just for what we're calling Area A, and it is 2 parcels that are within that entire area on West Westfield Ave. Those are Block 606, lots 31 and 32. A lot of what is written in this document are state requirements, so that information is in there. But most importantly, we have items showing the relation back to the master plan and the consistency with it, which the Land Use Board found it to be consistent with. These properties specifically are located currently in the B3 Arterial Business District. And then they are surrounded by the R1 single-family residence, kind of directly behind them. So we put all the information in there so you could see what is existing, and then we go and we put on what is being proposed. So I want to emphasize that this is obviously contributing to the affordable housing element fair share plan, but this is also a building that is going to be age-restricted living. So it's 55 plus with a 20% set aside for age-restricted housing. And with that being said, we made some modifications to the existing zone to make sure that it goes from a business kind of use to a mixed use use. So we made modifications to the zoning to allow for that. Some of those specific ones are moving the front yard setback a little bit closer to the street than what is currently permitted, but that's along West Westfield Ave. That's like quite common. It's a downtown corridor, so having those buildings closer to the street is actually quite good for the pedestrian scale. So the minimum front yard setback would be 5 feet. The minimum rear yard would be 25 feet, which is allowing for a buffer to be placed along the rear yard as well as a landscape buffer, which we are requiring because of the residential uses behind it. We have a maximum of age-restricted units of 46 units, like I said, with a 20% set aside. This building can go as high as 50 feet, 5 stories, which is lower than what is currently permitted in that business district. And then also they can have a parapet height of 10 feet. We did a lot of talking about parking today, so just to put into perspective, the parking requirements for this are 1.17 spaces per unit. And that also allows for a set aside of 24 compact spaces. So those are going to be smaller spaces. The typical parking space is 9 by 18. That's RSIS requirements. We do find that sometimes there are smaller vehicles that can fit in there. So that's why the compact spaces are existing and are going to be permitted. As we move along in the document, we have landscaping buffers and open space. So part of the redevelopment plan, and one of the better parts of doing redevelopment work, is you now have control over things like the landscape design, the design of the building, the design guidelines, the sidewalk, the streetscapes, things like that, where you can really emphasize important features of your downtown and kind of start creating a uniformed look across the board. So we created some landscaping guidelines, lighting guidelines. As you can see, we really emphasize sidewalks, pedestrian access, and streetscape improvements to really ensure that West Westfield Ave is going to be a pedestrian-friendly place. Finally, we have signage requirements, building facade design, and then in addition to this, we will require there be a phasing plan. So when they come to the land use board, they're required to bring a phasing plan so they will understand kind of the phasing of the process of the work. And then finally, a traffic study as well, because being as busy as West Westfield as, we think it's important to understand the trip generations that are going to be occurring with this new development. I kind of ran through that pretty quickly. The final pieces are general provisions, which are just really requirements for state statute. So if you do have any questions, I am happy to.
I have one.
Yeah.
Is it also going to be used for veterans there? Or is it just?
So there isn't any, right now, there's no requirement for there to be veterans, but right now we are just developing the zoning requirements. So we're creating the model of what can go in there. The land use board will then still have the opportunity when they make a application to the land use board for site plan. So that's when we will have more of an idea of the developer, the type of development, the look of it, but we're just kind of making the guidelines at this point.
Thank you.
I think we can put in, though, a preference for veteran
I think so.
affordable units. Sorry? In the agreement. So we can't do it at this stage, but the last stage we could put in.
It is definitely a possibility, yeah.
Cool.
Yes, absolutely.
Question, unless anyone else.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I have a question. Just sift through this briefly, and I'm all right with just looking at overall the R1. I guess my concern would be the B3 and why we separated it, and why is it 6 stories for that versus the 5 stories for the R1? And one more question.
Yeah.
And if it is possible, how would that affect that plan if we just made it uniform 5?
So the B3 is what is the existing zoning. That is what actually allows or permits a higher building. For the redevelopment plan, we're restricting the height to be a little bit lower. And I think that's just, in my experience coming to the borough, I've noticed that there is a bit of a sensitivity with height. So with there being a redevelopment plan and having that opportunity to restrict that, that's why we added that in. But if you would want it to be uniform, because it is in the B3 district, it could be permitted to go higher.
But I think B3 is that's the de facto zoning for that area.
That's what the existing zoning is, but I also think the B3 zone.
But we could change the zoning for that.
That's what I was just
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just change it
So
to a
overall,
mixed
B3,
use
you
and
want
just-
it to be 5 stories.
I'm not opposed all the way to at all. Actually, I actually looked at the R1 and it actually looks good. And one of my colleagues also brought to my it makes sense if we're gonna put parking there. We might have to give them a little bit more height to meet the requirement, especially if this is gonna be for seniors or people of that age group. So I'm not opposed to that. I just liked it to be uniform. That's all.
Uniform.
I don't know.
Yeah, so Greg, so we have, so the B3 is our de facto zoning there. So we would have to change the ordinance for the master plan? How would we change that if we were to change
You
the
would do
B3
an
zoning?
ordinance amendment.
We would need to amend,
You also do have a master plan
update, we're doing.
update that will be occurring, which could also be something we
Part of it.
explore heights as part of that, and especially specifically as recommendations. So that is how we could move forward with an ordinance amendment. As the mayor said earlier, you guys are the board that can make those changes. So
No, I don't worry. Thank
But
you.
the plan, just to, so everybody, just so for a refresher for the audience too, this supersedes any of the zoning.
So this would be specifically those 2 lots. The redevelopment plan will be their zoning just for those lots.
Yeah.
Everything, if you're not those 31, 32, you're 33, you're still the B3 zone, and the zoning does not change.
So the
It's just
B3,
those
the B3 could allow for 20 stories. If we're saying it's 5 stories in this plan, that's what supersedes the B3 zoning.
Yes.
Is there any setback on the 5th floor?
I think we have in design guidelines, we have articulation. So we, in our design guidelines, we require that there be a breakup in the facade between both materials as well as kind of articulation. So it's not just one monolith structure. That's what we're really trying to avoid as well. Like once again, going back to the pedestrian scale, if you're walking past the building, you don't want to walk past this just flat wall, right? So that's the intention. And then also having kind of entrances articulated, things like that, to make it a more welcoming space.
Got it. Okay. And then it's gonna be senior housing, but 55 plus, but only 20% is affordable. So
Affordable senior housing.
affordable senior
Yes.
housing. So rest is whatever the regular market rate.
Market rate.
Market
It's
rate.
gonna be. Yeah. So I do like the senior plan. It was just I'll be more in favor if it was 100% senior, living, more affordable, 100% affordable housing for seniors.
Yeah, so we've explored this in the past, not at this site. And, I don't know, Joe, if you want to come up for a second. But I don't know if it's par for the course, but what I could say is the projects that we've had that have been planned for 100% affordable, there needs to be like federal funding or HUD funding or something like that.
There's
Yeah.
typically some kind of, or from, federally funded HUD, or that creates like a different.
So like theoretically, the one that we were going to do by the DPW site, this was way before us. They were going to have Catholic Charities do that. That was
Okay,
going to
yep.
be 100% affordable, but they had HUD funding to back
Mm-hmm.
that, to subsidize it.
Yeah, in my experience, it's mostly HUD will do a lot of the municipalities I work in that.
And I'm not certain if I could. I'm not perfect. I could misread things sometimes, but besides the 100% and the backing, I'm not sure was there some type of strict guidelines under the affordable housing where we can't probably make the developers go beyond like 30% or something to that nature. Is that true or?
Is there a max that we could force a developer to
Yeah,
do?
because I think I recall reading something like that because I was trying to see what I could. I don't know.
I think in the context of redevelopment,
Chris?
your concern would really more be designing a plan that's going to be feasible for a developer to actually construct a project, sort of the same concerns we had before. So realistically, if you come back and you say this lot requires only 100% affordables, you're going to be having a lot of conversations about financial agreements, other credit support from the municipality, and other ways that that developer could seek financial assistance to make that project feasible and possible to be developed. So, I think that is probably where you would reach your bottleneck more so than, your ability to design it that way.
But I do share my colleague over there. I would like 100% too, just for the record. But I was just trying to see if I read something wrong or something.
Yeah, no, I think you're really trying to have actual affordable units be constructed. And so, you need the project to be built to have the units be there for people. So if you design a box that isn't going to actually result in a project, you're going to have 0 units as opposed to.
And I think it also goes, sorry to interrupt you, I think it also goes back to funding as well, right? It's either 100% affordable or it's the 20% that makes it a viable project. And I think the 20% is what you see most commonly across the board because it's the way the developers have been able to be successful. That's kind of the threshold of being able to have the affordable units while also having a successful project.
Although they could add part of a community benefit agreement, like if they wanted to go past a little bit, they could do that if they wanted to, the developers, as a part of the community benefit agreements that we have in place.
Yeah, I think we would have to though. So the community benefit agreement we have in place, that happens at the agreement stage, I think, right, or the site plan?
Application stage.
At the pilot application stage. So what we would have to do is we'd have to increase the affordable housing or the affordable housing number in the plan to allow for that to be higher via contribution. Again, look, I understand the thought behind all this, guys.
That's just the minimum.
Oh, this plan. Oh, so because they could go high. Yes.
Yeah.
They could.
They could.
You're 100% right.
Just to be nice.
Yeah.
Excuse me. If they wanted to put that a part of the application.
Yeah.
Also, that's another option. I'm just throwing it out there.
But you're right. Yeah, as part of that, if they say
I'm not here to be pro this or pro that. I'm just here to lay the facts down. That's all.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yep. Yeah, but I think Andrew, what was the story? So Catholic Charities had the project ready to go, and then HUD backed out.
Well, so for the site adjacent to the DPW, it was a 100% fully affordable senior housing project. It started out as 100 units, and the story is over time. It was Catholic Charities, Domus Corporation. There was a great plan for the site. It was going to be affordable senior housing, and it never happened because they couldn't acquire the funding. Every application they had before HUD could not be fully funded to make the project viable. So over time, and it's reflected in our affordable housing documents over time, that number went from 100 to 90. I think ultimately the last iteration was 60, and they still couldn't attain the funding levels from HUD to build a 60-unit building, and ultimately, we all know the project didn't happen.
Yep.
And that's exactly kind of what's being talked about now. Is you could say you could want to build the Freedom Tower there. It's not necessarily going to happen. And in this case, we wanted to build, or the borough over time has wanted to build, dozens of affordable housing units on that site, and it just didn't happen because the economics didn't dictate, even with public funds, didn't dictate that it could happen.
Any further discussion or questions? Okay. We ready to vote? Okay. Call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Rabine is not here. Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
No.
4 votes in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. The ordinance is introduced.
All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Please read all resolutions by title.
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 24825 is awarding a contract to Portofino Builders LLC for improvements for the project improvements to Laurel Avenue pursuant to the base bid in the amount not to exceed $318,534.80. Resolution 24925 is awarding a contract to Portofino Builders for the project improvements to Warren Avenue pursuant to the base bid in an amount not to exceed $248,362. Resolution 25025 is approving the time due calculation in terms of final payment for Zahir Base. Resolution 25125 is approving the time due calculation in terms of final payment for Mark Jaskula. Resolution 25225 is reauthorizing an interlocal agreement with the County of Union for a drug recognition expert call-out program. Resolution 25325 is expressing intent to adopt a stormwater infrastructure maintenance contribution ordinance to enhance the Borough of Roselle Park's storm drain system and ensure regulatory compliance. Resolution 25425 is affirming the appointment of Andrew J. Cassius as Municipal Housing Liaison for the Borough of Roselle Park. Resolution 25525 is ratifying and affirming the emergency procurement of repairs to the Borough of Roselle Park sanitary sewage system along East Grand Avenue pursuant to NJSA 48:11-6. Resolution 25625 is approving the time due calculation in terms of final payment for Michelle Boff. Resolution 25725 is authorizing the Borough Clerk to auction unclaimed vehicles. Resolution 25825 is authorizing application for the 2025 Union County Kids Recreation Trust Fund grant. Resolution 25925 is authorizing application for the 2025 Greening Union County grant. Resolution 26025 is granting permission to American Legion Post 60 to operate a social affair permit granted by the New Jersey Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control in Michael J. Morey Park as part of the Borough of Roselle Park's 2025 Oktoberfest celebration. Resolution 26125 is authorizing the treasurer to issue one check totaling $1,391.52 payable to one lien holder and one property and one check totaling $600 from the tax collector's premium account. Resolution 26225 is approving a fourth round Affordable Housing Trust Fund spending plan and requesting program and court approval of the spending plan. Resolution 26325 is accepting the resignation of Eric Kennedy from the Roselle Park Fire Department. Resolution 26425 is appointing Morris Barrientos Diaz as a member of the Roselle Park Fire Department. Resolution 26525 is appointing Sidney Stamboli to the position of high school counselor. Resolution 26625 is appointing Antonius Gamangas to the position of high school counselor. Resolution 26725 is appointing Lucia Ranieri to the position of high school counselor. 26825 is appointing Madeline Hemingway to the position of high school counselor. 26925 is appointing Ulysses Arvalo to the position of high school counselor. Resolution 27025 is appointing Madison Betances to the position of high school counselor. Resolution 27125 is appointing Diane Castro to the position of high school counselor. 27225 is appointing Stephen Gossama to the position of high school counselor. 27325 is redesignating a conditional redeveloper for the property identified as Block 503, lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the municipal tax map commonly known as 525 Locust Street, 58 West Lincoln Avenue, 56 West Lincoln Avenue, 54 West Lincoln Avenue, 50 West Lincoln Avenue, 40 West Lincoln Avenue, 38 West Lincoln Avenue, 34 West Lincoln Avenue, 515 Locust Street, and 501 to 511 Locust Street, along with all appurtenant streets and rights-of-way, and authorizing the execution of an interim cost agreement with respect thereto. Resolution 27425 was already voted on. 27525 is granting permission to Dowling's Irish Pub and Restaurant to operate a premises extension permit granted by the New Jersey Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control on a portion of William Street for a 10-year anniversary and halfway to St. Patrick's Day celebration.
Okay, do any members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, 253 and 256.
Hold on. 253, 256. John, what'd you say?
273.
And 275.
Okay.
And 250.
I was going to say.
I got it. I'm on point.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have them. So we're pulling 250, 253, 256, 273, and 275.
Yes.
And 249? Did somebody say 249?
No, nobody said
I'm
that.
writing that down for nothing.
Do you want 249?
No.
No.
Oh, I want 249. That's why I said that. Yeah, I want 249. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the resolutions remaining on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt resolution 249-25?
So moved.
Second.
Just a real quick question. As part of this, you're gonna hate this question. Do we have trees as part of the bid? Just because Warren is like bare and barren? I know I know we have other plans, but it might just be a way to kill two birds with one
I don't
stone.
believe that trees were part of the bid, but this project has come in so under bid.
Probably flex it.
We can probably, there's existing funds.
Okay.
So just to set context, when we estimated this project, it was much higher, partially because of asphalt prices and the price of oil. So now things have changed a little bit since the time of the budgeting cycle, and all of the bids came in pretty even with each other, so this wasn't an abnormally low, and those funds still exist that we budgeted, so we can flex it a little bit.
Okay, cool. That's all. Awesome. Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the resolution is adopted.
We have a motion to adopt Resolution 250-25. Is
So moved.
Second.
there any discussion?
I need to abstain.
Yes, sir. Please call the roll.
Yes, Mayor. Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson is abstaining. Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
4 votes in the affirmative, 1 abstention. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 253-25?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just thank Councilman Jay for bringing this thought process to council. Thank you.
He's not even here to take a victory lap on this one.
He's watching it from, I don't know.
Watching from
This is
above.
very good.
Just thank him.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the resolution is adopted.
May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 256-25? Is
So moved.
Second.
there any discussion?
Yes. I'd just like to thank Michelle for many years of service to the borough. I think she started in the library, worked her way into finance, and then to PD. I think it's 23 years, whatever, but I worked with her many years as the fire chief. She's done a good service to the borough of Roselle Park. I wish her many luck, happiness in retirement, but she was a model employee for the borough of Roselle Park. Thank you, Michelle.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the resolution is adopted.
May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 273-25?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Quick question. So this is developer for the entire space, not just the 2 lots?
Yeah, we haven't done this in a minute, so
Well, this is, hold on, can I just, Mayor, if I could?
I was going to try and do it, but you can do
Well,
it.
no, I'm just saying, it is a different property than the one we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So this is a conditional redeveloper designation and an interim cost agreement for the Ryan property.
Okay.
Not Block 6, not the 2 lots on Block 606 that we were referencing. So this is a separate project, just to be clear.
And we're just naming like the developer, right?
Correct. So just to, I'll try
This
now.
is us rezoning?
No. So basically, the redevelopment plan, so the things we've been talking about tonight are all redevelopment plans.
Uh-huh.
The redevelopment plan, correct me if I'm wrong, has passed for the Ryan project.
Yes.
They were named conditional redeveloper in 2020?
2021, I believe.
2021. It lapses after 12 or 18 months. So basically what this does is it names the developer the conditional redeveloper, and the benefit of it, regardless of whether or not it passes, is they get to incur the cost with us again on the lawyers and planning fees and all that. And then that brings us to the final stretch, which is developing that redevelopment agreement, which is what is the pilot, what is going to be the contribution, what is going to be the blah, 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 like all the real minutia beats of it. So this gives them the condition to do that and negotiate with us for that time being, right, Joe, more or less?
Got it.
Nailed it.
Good job.
Crushed it.
I understood it.
Okay, any further questions? Okie dokie, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
No.
Councilman Patel.
No.
3 votes in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. The resolution is adopted.
Cool. Reports, is that was it? No, 275. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 275-25?
Oh, so moved.
Second.
That's not me. Somebody said second. Greg said second.
Yep, I said second.
Okay, cool. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yep.
I just, I'm concerned with this all the time, just closing down the street. I'm obviously concerned with the houses, with the residents that live on that street, the businesses. So I'm just saying, please reconsider because even though I'm excited for them and 10-year anniversary and all the wonderful things that Dowlings does, I do applaud them and I appreciate their business. But just closing that, part of William Street. I've heard from residents and businesses that it's just, it's hard on them. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Excuse me. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
No.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
4 votes in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, Nito. May I have, what is it, reports of Borough Council committees? Okay, let's start off with, we're going to go reverse. Councilman Patel.
No report, so.
My favorite kind of reports. Councilwoman Lyons.
Good evening. I'll make this quick. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents of Roselle Park, and everyone here. I just wanted to really say thank you for the open mic nights that we hosted in July in downtown Roselle Park. I really appreciate everyone that helped out. Land's Music, our music school that we have in Roselle Park is just such a huge help. They come out and they bring the speakers and the music equipment. And Juan, he is actually just a great asset to our community. So I just wanted to acknowledge him and acknowledge Rupin Shaw just for his direction and his help with gathering everyone. And to all the performers, every single night was just amazing. So if you didn't come out, hopefully we'll have something sooner than later. But I just wanted to acknowledge that and just thank everyone here as well. Anyone that came out and supported that, I really appreciated that. And just a reminder, all the festivals that are coming up, September really starts a really huge community event time for us.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're looking for some dates, I know we always post it on the Roselle Park Borough Forum and also the Community Center. Rupin Shaw definitely has those dates, but there's too many to name all at once. But they're starting in a few weeks, so hopefully we'll see you. And that concludes my report. If you need me, our Lions at rosellepark.net, 908-726-8773.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Petrosky.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to send out my condolences to Frank Antonelli. Frank was my gym teacher when I was in high school. He was also my football coach. Frank also coached wrestling, softball. He was a great athlete for Roselle Park in the early 60s. He was the, like I said, wrestling coach for the high school. Great guy. I was sad when I heard about him passing, but may he rest in peace. Charles Gallagher, Joseph Plaka, and Annette Legara. My condolences go out to all of them. Quiet month, July 23rd, open mic. I was there. Rosanna, great job. Like the former councilman used to say, we got talent. We definitely got talent in Roselle Park. They did a great job. I was real pleased. I apologize for not making the last one. I had a meeting at the American Legion, so I couldn't get there. August 5th, I attended the National Night Out. Rosanna, thank you for being there also. Again, my hearts go out to the police department and the fire department. Like I said, it was a good night. The American Legion just got their bathrooms done downstairs, the men's and women's room. I want to bring the tile union in and the plumbers. I know it's a lot.
Oh, my goodness, Joe.
But I do appreciate.
Can we do it in one meeting?
One meeting, we're going to do them both. Okay. What people might not know, these are the union workers. They volunteered their time on the Saturday. Didn't accept any money or anything. They came in, and like they always said to me, they would do anything for the veterans. So I do appreciate them. And actually, Tina, your daughter was there for the first one. So I really appreciate what they did, and the bathrooms look great. I don't know when the last time the bathrooms were done, but it's a big difference, and like that.
Smells less.
And there's more to come, just to let you know. So I appreciate it, and you made an appearance.
I did. I was there. Tina, I always forget how tall your daughter is. I ran into her, but she did a great job there.
Yeah, I thought the bathrooms look great there.
Yeah, she was picking on the mayor. She's like, "Hey, little guy." She wouldn't do that. I'm just kidding.
If you
Sweet
need to
girl.
get a hold of me, you can get me at
You do.
jprodowski@rosellepark.net, 908-666-7821, and that's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents. The first thing I wanted to go over is just to let the residents know that we hear your voice. Junior, myself, and even Councilman Rabina, there's been constant issues regarding Union and Dalton, but just to reiterate, we are listening, and we are having a lot of back and forth discussions on what we're going to do on trying to mitigate those concerns in that area regarding the Catchwater Basin. The second thing is we're still listening. I heard a large cry from the community regarding the trash on Westfield Ave, and although my nonprofit has volunteered to do the cleanup, that doesn't mean that we're telling residents that you have to do something. So I am working with Andrew with hopefully coming up with a proposal or a resolution that this governing body can possibly vote on, which will not take away the responsibility from NJDOT, but just complement it in helping supplement cleanup. Because at the end of the day, whether the highway goes through Roselle Park or not, it's our community. And so hopefully we'll get the rest of the governing body support, and we could probably start cleaning up on Westfield Ave as well as a borough. But the third thing that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to give clarity to the residents of this community. There's been a lot of misinformation, and I'll be the first to say, initially when I took this seat, I too and actually I still am against apartments. However, we have to keep in mind that this is a state mandate, and we had previous Mayor Joe DiOrio who took a stand on symbolism, and I commend him. However, it cost the borough a lot of money. We got sued by the developers, and then we lost control. So my thing is, I'm just trying to come up with a solution. It may not be the solution that everybody wants to hear, but that's some of the reasons why we increased the apartments to 20%, because I don't want a lot of apartments here in Roselle Park. I moved to this community. I'm originally from Newark. I moved to this community because I love that it has that town feel. I love that it's quaint. I love that it's everyone knows each other, and things of that nature. That's one of the main reasons why I moved here. However, it is my duty as a swearing into office I can't die on a sword on symbolism and lose control. Right now, we have an opportunity to maintain control. That's why we also put a community benefits agreement in place to, I don't want to say force, but to ensure that our community, if we're going to be forced with this being shoved down our throats to build all these massive apartments, to hold these developers accountable with making sure that the schools get more money, making sure that Roselle Park gets more money, have a more eco-tourist community, add some greenway and things of that nature. So let me tell you, this is a hard pill to swallow, but we need the community and elected officials to start taking the time to educate themselves in this matter. We had a resident here earlier. He was asking a lot of great questions, and I'm not opposed to those line of questions. I'm actually in agreement with some of those questions. However, property and building does not go interchangeably. We need to understand when taxes, just like we said that they're, through the pilots, the schools aren't getting their fair taxes. It's the same thing. It's a building and property, land value is two different things. Area redevelopment is area, not buildings, although I still agree with you with all the other questions. So I'm just here, again, I'm not picking sides. I'm not yes, for them, Republican, all this other nonsense. We've been sued already. If all three of us or four of us say no, then guess what's going to happen? We're going to be sued again. This is not a time for symbolism. You know what symbolism is? When Juneteenth got 2 people that show up, and we're going to keep doing that every year. That's symbolism. This is not a sword to die on symbolism. We lost that fight, and I'm not saying we can't continue fighting, but the fight is not with your local council, it's with the state legislation. So we need to rally together and go down there. And I'll tell you, that's going to take forever to get this fixed. We're in the fourth quarter, the clock is ticking, and guess what? I don't care if the governor Cifelli win. I don't care if nobody's going to be able, I don't care if it's Obama, Trump, no one is going to be able to just come in here and change that overnight. That is not going to happen with this legislation that we currently have. We have to be real. So we have to come up with solutions, not just say no, and then die on the sword and get sued. Come on, guys. We have to take the time to do the reading, not just come up here and just say no, not just be out in the bullpit and say no. What is your solution then? Because Diorio already died on the sword and said no. So we're going to repeat history? Roselle Park, I don't want this to always be a political thing. I'm tired of that locally. I don't care. I'll go against my own party. And I think I've proven that. So what I'm saying is it's supposed to be about community. So while we are in charge, let's make the best of getting the most from these developers. Let's get some money for the schools. Let's create a currency for the schools. Let's get more bike trails in here. Let's get these developers to do for Roselle Park. But all of this political divide, all of this nonsense, we're not focusing on community. Community. And don't come up here and repeat what someone else has said. We are in the era where we can fact check everyone. So fact check me. I challenge you. If you're gonna come up here and advocate with facts, not with fiction, not with separation, not with divides. I don't care if I lose or win. I don't want to play that. I'm for community. I don't care if you don't believe me. But we need to really take the time to sit here and understand what pilots, payment in lieu of and I'll challenge anyone to a debate. We need to sit here and understand this. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's tough for me too. I'm asking questions too. I make mistakes up here. So let's understand what we're dealing with. We just can't say no for symbolism and then we're sued again. And guess what? The burden is on the taxpayers. And guess what? When the developers come in, we're going to have to take whatever the courts tell us. This is not rocket science. So we got to use our cabeza. Excuse me, I need water. Thank you. So I'm here to go on this tangent because we really need to, I'm against apartments, but I'm not against what Kanjan said about 100%. I'm open to these options. Let's bring up some options. At least he's bringing up an option. Don't just say no. What's your option? What's your solution? Because we already been sued. At the end of the day, I just hope everyone enjoys their summer. Let's take a moment to really sit back and think about this. I'd rather control the density. I'd rather control the height. I'd rather increase the number so we could deal with less apartments. And we have a parking concern, and I don't care what this legislation says, because I'm ready to go there myself. Because that's nothing but political nonsense. If this state of New Jersey and whoever sponsored that, get ready. Get ready. Because I don't care. We will fight for that. Get ready. We're not doing zero at no trans village. Absolutely not. So I say this to say, everyone, please enjoy your summer. I just want people to take time to educate themselves instead of coming up here, whether you're on the dais or whether you're down there, saying stuff that is non-factual. Please, let's get our things together. But at the end of the day, questions are warranted, and I love that. So please, everyone, enjoy your summer. And Mayor, I digress on my rant. If anyone needs to get in contact with me, please email me at gjohnson@rosellepark.net, or you can call me at 908-303-1519, and let's do good for Roselle Park and not continue to chase power and seats.
It was a damn good rant. Councilman Signorello.
I can't top that, but good job, Craig. I attended the couple of the open mic nights, enjoyed it. You know, it was funny. 6 of those Wednesdays it was hot as anything, right? And then Jay had a swim night. I tell you what, we needed a jacket that night. So that was a Wednesday. That was the 7th Wednesday. But anyway, it was well attended. I kind of liked the Clark pool just a tad better than the Cranford from last year.
Shots fired.
Huh?
Shots fired.
Oh, so anyway, I like the Clark pool. Anyway, I was a little late to the National Night Out because I'm part of this 2035 vision team that we're trying to look down the road with school board members, the public, to see what we're going to do for our schools down the road, maybe by 2035. And I just wanted also the open mic night actually helped the farmers market a little too, so the people came from there that helped out. Other than that, that's all I have to say, and enjoy your next couple weeks of summer, and schools open in September 4th? So that's all I have. Have a good evening.
Cool. Yeah, I don't really have much to report, but I will. I think Councilman Johnson hit on a number of good things, and I think people, when he talks about, or when we talk about having control of the situation, let me tell you exactly what that means, and let's use Romorowski here. So Romorowski got affordable housing lawsuit in 2009. Luck would have it, as soon as I get elected, they start building. Great job, Mayor Signorello. My fault, too. They came in to tell us finally what the design's going to be. And the first thing that they came up with, if you guys don't like the look of it now, you should have seen the first one. It was rough. It was vinyl siding, yeah. It looked like a big single-family home that they just made 200 apartment units. And, you know, honestly, I was bluffing, right? Like I said, this is ugly. This doesn't look good. We kind of used some of the redevelopment agreement that was vague, that it had to look kind of like the aesthetics of the original to twist their arm a little bit. But what Councilman Johnson's hitting on is when the court dictates that you're delinquent on your affordable housing units, then the court decide what goes there, and any of the nice things that you want get tossed aside, right? Like if I could redo that, I mean, I've seen these places. One of the old buildings was beautiful, right? The old warehouse, that would have been super cool lofts that were retrofit, right? Like, but once you say, screw it, we're going to court, your hands are in the court, right? And you don't have the ability anymore to say, yeah, you can do X, Y, and Z, but we want to leave that because it's a historic building, right? Can't do that anymore. So, you know, I think I appreciate the education tonight. I think it's very well said. Lord knows I've gone enough on my rants and raves here, but I think it's really important for people to see concretely what that means. Is like, you don't like Romorowski? There's a lot of things I don't like about it either. And guess what? We got it that way because a judge said, you will do 230 units and you will do it this way. Deal with it. Mic drop. Any questions? mayorsig@rosellepark.net. May I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you'd like to come up and speak on any subject matter, you may do so now. We really need some water.
Michael Ryan, 515 Locust Street.
Good evening, council, and good evening, mayor. I want to say thank you, council, for having the confidence to redesignate me and my company as the developer for the Ryan property.
So one night you didn't bring your model, too. Of all times.
After you made fun of it
I got George
last
to laugh.
time.
I'm having a good night tonight.
Well, yeah, I hope you see a lot more than the model eventually. And I really, I think the development around the train station is the most important projects that are going to happen in Roselle Park, probably for the next 100 years until transportation changes. When I started this planning for this project, I told the architect to do not consider cost, but let us work on something that is going to be valuable to the town, admired by the town, and an asset. And I think when if you compare this to all the other things that have been done in town, you can see that it's there's a lot of restraint and attention to the aesthetics and to what it's going to give to Roselle Park. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm sure that all the people that are doubtful or against this, in time will recognize this as something to be proud of, and that's what I intend to do. So I want to thank you for giving me the chance, and have a good evening.
There's always a lot of squawking, Mike, and then people see it and the squawking stops happening because it's never as bad as people make it out to be.
Well, that's what I intend to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Best of luck. Yes, sir. Name and address for the record.
Milt Woodruff, 134 Bender Avenue, Roselle Park. I'm not sure if this is the right format, but I do have one issue that I'd like to bring before the council. We got electric bikes, mopeds, scooters, and everything else going around, and no helmets, failing to obey the laws, going the wrong way, and really causing a major safety hazard because they do it how they want. And there's too many of them that just have no helmets and keep on going. In fact, the other day, I was going down the street and one came off the sidewalk between two parked cars. I must have missed him maybe by a foot. Could have easily been a very serious accident.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is the right format or form to bring it before.
Got the Public Safety Committee here on my right. I'm sure they can bring it up with the chief and we can step up enforcement there.
Pass it along or whatever.
Why? There's already a law. You got to put your helmet on. We just got to make sure we enforce it.
What's that?
There's already law. You need to wear a helmet.
I'll bring it up to the chief during the next meeting. We'll bring it up to
Okay.
there's 3 on the committee.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
500 East Clay, George Ramirez. So the apartments. Right now, we've got the 2 Meridia projects.
Yep.
And the My Place. How many of those apartments are readily available now for renting, like total?
So all of them at the first Meridia, which is 210.
You got 210.
Yep. And then of the ones, I'm just going to ballpark it, at Romarowski, it's 200 units. Half of that is 100, call it 100 units are activated there.
100.
Ballpark. And then of the latest Meridia, there's 325. Again, they're all available, so 325.
But 325. So you have about 635.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, so far, there's about 80 students from those 635.
Yep.
So from the 635.
Can we break up those 80 students for a second, though? So of those 80 students, about 20 of them are in pre-K, right? Which I think is an important distinction because pre-K is optional.
Yeah, all right. No, it's optional, but
It's optional for the town to opt in.
are those 20 pre-K kids, are they in our school system or no?
Yeah, they're in our school system.
So we're paying for it.
Okay, sure. Yep.
All right. So out of those 635, we've got about 80 students.
Yep.
On an average of 22,000 per student is about 1.6 million, right?
I think, look, the math that you guys do on this is always like erroneous and silly. And the idea that so these buildings are paying for, the property taxes do contribute to the school system. I understand where you're going. It's faulty
Property
math.
taxes contribute to the school system.
Excuse me?
You said the property
The
taxes.
property taxes, yes, on the land.
Okay, how much is the property taxes on the land for, say, the First Meridian?
80,000? What is it, 40? Whatever, I have no idea.
How much is it?
I don't know off the top of my head.
80? Let's call it 100.
Sure, yeah.
It's a lot less than 1.6 million.
I would challenge that 1.6 million number, but sure.
All right.
Yeah.
How much would we collect for a proposed building where the Board of Ed building is now? How much would we collect
So
hypothetically
Yeah, so the
pilot?
So the proposed building, actually, we're going to give most of the pilot money to them.
Okay, that wasn't my question. How much would we collect?
So the pilot steps up every year, right? So it's hard to say, right? So the first year it could be $100,000. It's a portion of whatever the revenue is.
All right, so if we go by how many apartments we have rented so far, plus how many students are coming there, that's what, roughly 13, 15%?
Yep.
Of students from the apartments?
Okay.
So if we do 55 apartments, which
Yep.
is what it's slated for now.
Yep.
That's what, 6, 7 students? 7 students, call it.
How do you get the math of 6, 7 students?
55.
What?
55
Can we also
apartments.
set context? What is 80 students in comparison to the entire student population?
So, hold on.
It's 1%.
Hold on.
Just want to let you know that. 1%.
What's- No, we're talking, but the 1% houses are paying for that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So we've got.
But not every house.
Yeah, do you want to pay, you
All right,
got
we're talking
kids,
about-
I don't
we're
have
just
kids.
talking about
I should lower my taxes and you should pay more.
We're just
That's the
talking
logic.
about apartments right now.
I don't want to, I don't want to pay $5,000.
635.
I don't want to pay $5,000 for your kids. I should stop. Is that the math?
0.6.
Okay.
So we have to make over 100,000 for that one building for it to break even.
Again, your math is flawed. It's not the way it works.
That's not how it works.
If you take statistics.
That's not how it works. It's not how it works. I got to stop you. It's not how it works.
How what works? How it doesn't work?
So
explain. So let's talk. Let's be transparent.
Okay.
here.
So how many?
Facts.
So you talked about 635 apartments.
Correct.
How many students would come from 635 houses?
80. Well, no, we're just talking about apartments.
I know, but I want to talk about houses.
We're going to compare apples to apples, not apples to
We're
oranges.
talking about students and where they come
Correct.
from.
So there's 80 students from the apartments.
All right, never
I'm not
Yeah,
talking
you
about
guys are out of
students
time.
from-
You're out of time. You're both out of time.
Okay,
You're both
you're
out of time.
All
It's
right.
fun discussion. Bad math.
All right. Bad math. 1 + 1 = 2.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There are no matters for closed session this evening. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.